morning to you both. Tom, why is it trading down so much?
Yep, so it looks to me like it's a victim of investor sentiment. If you look at the mid-cap internet space, it's been a terrible quarter. Grubhub went down 40% last week, also saw big pullbacks in Wayfair, Etsy, and Pinterest. So I think here it's a victim of investor sentiment, especially in the mid-cap internet tech space.
Mark, do you see it the same way? What do you think of these numbers?
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. I think, the beat was roughly 2% on revenue. If you look at the last 2 quarters, the average was about 8%. So, I mean, that's more optical, but certainly it's a momentum stock. So there was a higher expectation out there. I think if you look at gross margins and users, they were stable. ARPU was better. I think if you look at the guide, revenue looks good to me. Gross margins are a little squishy, so there'll be some questions on the call as it relates to gross margin. But, generally speaking, this is, obviously a volatile stock. And I think if you look at the big picture here, what we like about it is it's still the best and most scalable platform for OTT or connected TV advertising for both advertisers as well as a place for publishers to sell inventory. And, 35 million U.S. broadband households, which we expect to go to 50 million over the next several years. This has a long runway ahead.
Tom, the fact that we've just seen Apple TV Plus launch, we're poised to see Disney Plus launch, and then we're going to get more services behind that. Is that going to be a headwind or a tailwind for Roku?
It should definitely be a tailwind, but if you look at the company, it's definitely swimming with the sharks when it comes to competition. They work with or compete against really the 3 biggest tech companies in the world, in Amazon, Apple, and Google. But net, I see that as being more of a tailwind than a headwind.
Do you feel, Mark, that moving forward in the long term, this company could become a victim of its own success, whether that's because the TV manufacturers want to push back on the hardware that they make or the over-the-top streaming apps want to push back on the slice of the pie that Roku's taking?
No, it's a great question, Will. I would say there is some question that's been, around that topic. TCL has been a big OEM for Roku, and they've both grown their success together. I think there has been some discussion of that, but if you think about it, they're both sort of married together here. So if TCL wants to go another direction, I think a lot of that growth momentum that they've been piggybacking on with Roku sort of goes away for them. So I don't see that as a major concern in our eyes at this point.